Hey guys, what's going on? Dylan from Archer Nation here, and today we're going to be checking out a pedal called the 70's Overdrive from a company called NEXI Industries. I've been a fan of theirs for over a year now, used a lot of their stuff off and on. A great company, but I picked the 70's Overdrive today because it's probably my favorite one of the bunch that I have from them. It's just a really nice, solid overdrive that I use to kick the front end of Marshalls. So today we're going to demo this thing, a couple different amp settings. The amp we're going to use today is the Marshall 3-channel JCM 2000, coupled with my favorite personal instrument, this Epiphone Elitist Les Paul from 2003. And that's it. No other effects, no reverb, no nothing. We're just using the pedal straight into the amp so you can kind of hear what's going on with the unit that we're demoing. All right, hope you enjoy. Okay, so first we're going to start with a clean amp sound. So here's what we got. Just kind of classic Marshall-y, clean channel, nothing real to it, right? Now if you come down here on the pedal, we've got the volume at noon so far, although you'll see that it has a lot of headroom when we turn it up. But we'll start the volume at noon, tone at noon as well, and then we'll start with a low gain and we'll work through the gain range here so you can kind of hear what this pedal can do. So here is clean, and here's with low gain. We'll even do a little bit less to start with here. There we go. So just punchy and warm, not overly crispy and bright. Even if that's all this pedal did, it's a good application for a clean amp sound coupled with an overdrive pedal to kind of give it a little bit more oomph without being super saturated. And again, that's very little gain. If you look at this, I've got it barely up to 9 o'clock there. So let's go closer up to noon and see what we get. Now we're kicking it up here. So this pedal has a lot of range in terms of how much gain you want to dial in. Now we're kind of in that AC/DC plus range, right? Queen kind of. Thin Lizzy, that kind of 70's, a little bit more. I guess it is called the 70's Overdrive, so it sounds like 70's hard rock and roll to me here. And that's all the knobs up on noon, so check it out. Now if we want to do a little tone, of course we can dial that in too. So just to give you the full range, take the tone all the way down. A little bassier, a little muddier. But it can be used to take the edge off of a sort of treble-y amp if that's what you want to do too. So there is that function. And we'll bring it back up to noon. And that's where we had it before, which is where I kind of like it the most, but check it out. We'll turn the tone up more. Let's spin up from noon all the way up here. Now it's pretty bright. But to my ears, it's still not too bright, I don't think. You know, a lot of these pedals, especially newer, like modern digital-based ones, I feel like if you turn the tone knob up on a lot of things, it's like instant, crispy, burnt toast, which is my way of saying not good. But this doesn't have that fried circuit sort of sound. So I like the tone knob because there's no setting that really sucks, and oftentimes there is, I think, on other pedals. So very usable there. Now let's turn the gain all the way up here and see what we get. Actually, let's go 3/4 first. So we're going from noon to 3/4 gain. You can hear a little bit more saturation, a little bit more kick in volume, although not really. Again, still not super over the top and not too much to kind of take us too far away from the original amp sound. And And again, by comparison, here's what we started with, just if you need a little reset on the ears here. That's our original output, our volume from the Marshall. And now here's 3/4 gain with the 70's Overdrive from NEXI. It just kind of lends that tubey sort of warmth that I love so much, and I think a lot of people love so much, obviously, but you know, you could take this to the weekend gig, no problem, even with just a clean amp. If your amp doesn't even have a saturated sort of a dirty channel and whatnot, you could take it from here to that. That's pretty good. And then lastly, we'll turn the gain all the way up just for fun. Finally, you get to start to hear a little bit of that kind of comfortable, kind of squishy compression kind of thing. Oh yeah, we could lay in that all day. That's very nice. Okay, oh, and then lastly, the volume. So this really jumped out to me at first when I got these pedals too. And this isn't the only NEXI pedal that is capable of doing this. The volume range is really, really big. For instance, so, you know, I like to go through the whole range when we do these things so you can hear everything, not just start at half and go to full or whatever. So here's nothing. This is gain. Let's go back gain to 3/4. Again, I like tone straight up. You heard the other settings, but let's leave tone in the middle. Here's volume at 1/4, so it should be less than what we had. Yeah, so now we're not getting any dB boost at all. If anything, we're going backwards with the volume at 3/4. Now we go to a half here. Roughly in the same ballpark. Although we are adding a lot of gain now. Now what's really crazy is after we get past noon here on the volume, it just jumps a ton if we want it to. I mean, that's crazy, right? That's a ton. There's 3/4. So again, clean to 3/4 volume. I mean, you can really do some damage with this thing. It's pretty cool. And that was 3/4. I mean, again, full. It's like an extreme leap. So if you really, really want to punch the amp in the mouth and get way, way up there, you know, you could even use it as like a lead boost in that setting. You know, if you don't want to just let this on the whole time during your gig and it's not your primary sort of dirty tone all the time, if you just wanted to use this thing for solos, it would be good too, because you could add, you know, a minimal to a moderate amount of gain, shape the tone a little bit, and then you could have as much volume boost as you could possibly want to get those leads over the top of the mix. So because the volume has such a wide range, I think there's that application as well. Okay, so that's kind of the thoughts on the NEXI so far, with a clean setting on the amp and all the knobs sort of spinning in every direction so you can see what they do. Next, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to start with a dirty sort of bass with the Marshall and then see how it interacts from there. All right. All right, so now, same amp, same guitar. We didn't change anything, except we're going to start with a dirty bass on the Marshall here. So we went to the second channel on the 3-channel JCM 2000, not the lead channel, but the crunch one. Here's what we got. So not all the way over the top, although it's a pretty good amount of gain already. Okay, so there's what we got. Now, we'll reintroduce the NEXI, and we'll see how the 70's Overdrive pedal sort of pairs itself with a sort of dirty bass line instead of the clean amp that we just did. So let's bring this back down here. We'll start with the tone at noon again, volume same thing, and we'll bring the gain up very slowly and see what we get. Okay, so last time, here's no pedal. And here's some gain. Now you can hear that we lost a little volume there because we have so little gain. But I think if we push it up to here, we can already hear it kicking in here. So. There we go. Okay, so we got the pedal to a quarter of the way up, right? 9 o'clock. Now I like that. This is probably the setting that I would use the most, or I do use the most, when I'm doing my own stuff here. So, and listen to how it just kind of fattens everything up, fills in a couple of the holes, enriches their harmonics a little bit across the spectrum. And just kind of fills that need that we all love, right? We have overdrive hitting the front of an amplifier that's already crunchy. I mean, just a time-old recipe, right? So. Sounds pretty good already, but once you take the pedal off after listening to it for a while, you feel like you're lacking something sometimes, you know? Okay, we'll keep bringing the gain up just for fun here. All right, so there's all three knobs at noon. Now we got a lot of gain going on. Plenty. And we get all that kind of compressy sort of stuff. Still, to me, sounds very much like the 70s sort of hard rocking sound, although we have a lot more gain, so we're kind of building on, you know, dipping into that sort of heavy metal sound range. Tightens up the bass a little bit too. Good side effect there. It really starts to compound things a little bit. And of course that's full gain on the amp and a lot of gain on the Marshall already. So this wouldn't be the setting I'd run all the time, but just so you can hear it. You can start to hear it's getting a little squishy, a little squished there, compressed. Let's bring it back down to half. I'll show you the tone knobs range when interacting with a dirty amp. There's back in the tone all the way off, so a little muddier, of course, kind of bassy, a little woofy. Back to half, up to noon, I should say. I love it right there, and then we'll bring it all the way up. Again, the tone all the way up is still not too bright. It's kind of surprising. I like it. And then the volume thing, like I showed you in the clean section of the video, is just nuts. So I'm just going to roll through the whole volume range here. there's back to noon where we had it this whole time. Now let's go beyond noon. So you can hear it didn't have quite the extreme leap that it would with the clean section of the amp, but still considerable. And there you go. So that's kind of the running through the paces of the NEXI 70's Overdrive. Again, probably my favorite pedal from them, but they have a ton of great stuff, so check out their whole line. And I'm Dylan from Archer Nation. It's been awesome, man. Stay tuned. We'll do some more videos soon. Peace.